you been with ThreeZero Racing?
I created it. So, let's see, we started in 2014, technically. We bought the car in 2014, and it was actually Kaiser Racing back then. So, yeah, about 4 years.
What's your role with ThreeZero?
I'm the owner. I'm the owner, driver, and part of the social media team that we have. I run the YouTube channel, but I also run the team, and I drive the car. So, pretty big role.
How did you get started with ThreeZero Racing?
Well, I created it. When we started 4 years ago, we were actually Kaiser Racing. We didn't really do anything much as far as social media. It's just what we branded ourselves as. And then as the years kind of went on, we started getting better equipment. We really stepped up our game and became ThreeZero. So ThreeZero really, as its own name, has only existed for half a year.
How long have you been a fan of dirt track racing?
Probably 23 years. I'm 23 years old now, but as long as I can remember, Dad used to take me to races when I was a kid, and I actually remember him driving some for the guy who actually works on the chassis for our car now. So it's been a long time.
What got you into dirt track racing?
Dad did. He used to take me, and again, like I said in the last part, but he actually drove a car for a little while, and he would take me pretty much every Friday night during the summer, and that was like the best thing ever during the summer. It wasn't going to the lake or going to the beach. It was going to the racetrack, and Dad always took me, and I mean we had such a good time. But that's pretty much how that formed.
What was your first experience like at the dirt track?
Loud, filthy, long night. It's been a long time since my first experience. I don't even remember what track I went to first, but it was just so addicting, I guess. It's just with all the noise and the dust and the cars beating on one another. Like, it was just the greatest thing ever. So that's how I kind of fell in love with it.
What's it like working on a race car?
Well, if you watch the past couple of videos, it was pretty much a nightmare. But I don't know, it's kind of mixed. It's fun at times, like it's really fun at times, to work on one of these, but at the same time, sometimes it can be a job. It's really frustrating, and you get really aggravated about it, and you lose sleep over it, and that's not fun. But you have to kind of see the bigger picture on why you do what you do, and that's to have fun. So it's always good to sometimes just step away from working on a car. But at the same time, when you go to the track after working on it all week and it does good, it was the best thing ever. And then you're all happy and smiles when you come back from the track. So it overall it's fun, but it has its moments where it's super frustrating.
What was the best moment for you at ThreeZero Racing?
It's actually a tie for me. I would say the first time I ever got to roll onto the track, which has been a lifelong dream of mine, but I really think the best moment for me was getting my very first top 5. It took me 2 years to get, but we had all kinds of problems with the car that year and leading up to this moment, and if I remember right, it was one of the first races of Cherokee, and I really wasn't expecting much, and it actually had just rained at the track, and the track was slippery as all get out, and it was pretty much a mud bog at that point. But we got out there were a couple other cars with us, and I started in front of them when I realized my car was faster in the mud than theirs was, and I said, oh my God, this is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was not a lot of cars. Like, I think there was 8 or 9 cars, but our closest finish to a top 5 has either been 7 or out. and I held them off the whole race, and they were sticking noses under me several times, but we were able to get the car, wheel it home, and finish with a top 5, and that was the very first top 5. And it had been such a long night, a long off season, and when I came in, everybody was just jumping and cheering on the truck, and running to the car when I came pulling in, and that to me has got to be the single best moment for me.
What was the worst moment for you at ThreeZero Racing?
I'd have to say my wreck. That wreck did more damage than what we thought. And I don't mean to the car. We were getting kind of competitive right before the wreck. We were doing pretty good, and then it happened. I basically ran into a Jersey barrier at about 60, 70 miles an hour. Car came up off the ground. It was fantastic. Messed up the car real bad, and I had dizziness and nausea the next day, and then I realized after going to the doctor that I had developed a concussion from smashing my head on the steering wheel because I did not have a Hans device. And I'm going to say this real quick: if you do not have a Hans device, buy a Hans device. If you can afford a race car, you can afford that. And if I had had that on, that would not have happened. That's just my 2 cents. But anyways, I got hurt, and we were out for like 3 or 4 months. I mean, we were out most of the season, and we came back, and I was not all the way back. And I mean, I had healed from my injury, like I was fine. All my follow-up stuff, it was fine. We were good, but my confidence pretty much went from like here to here because I made the mistake. It's nobody else's fault but mine. The car was fine, handling-wise. I just made a stupid decision, and I still beat myself up about that today.
What is the funniest thing that you've witnessed at ThreeZero?
I was waiting for this question. This one's good. So back when we were Kaiser Racing, we had 2 other guys, well technically 3 other guys that helped us out at the track, and they could no longer help us just due to them moving and work and whatnot. So they ended up, we kind of parted ways. No bad feelings that I know of. But basically, one of the guys, I'm not going to name him just for the sake of in case this goes to court, but it was late one night at Carolina. It was me and these 2 other guys, and we had finished the race, and we were sitting in the pits, and we hadn't loaded the car yet. It was still on the ground, but we were just kind of hanging out. Nobody had anything to do the next day, so we were just having a good time. Well, I went to the concession stand to get a last-minute cheeseburger before they threw them out. And I came back, and one of my crew members is standing on the toolbox of the white truck that we have, that we used to tow the car to track with his pants down around his ankles, and the other guy is taking a picture of it to send to somebody as a joke. And when I say his pants were, he was naked on top of the truck. I just remember seeing it, and I was like, oh dear God, we're all going to jail. But that has probably got to be the funniest thing I ever witnessed. And you had to be there to understand why it was so funny, but it was hilarious when it happened.
What does dirt racing mean to you?
Everything. It's my way of unwinding, and it's my way of bonding with Dad. And honestly and truly, I have no idea what I would be doing if I wasn't dirt racing. I really can't think of anything. It's to get in a car and get out there, go 90 miles an hour sideways with some, other guys that you're friends with is just amazing. It's the freest you've ever felt in your life, and that's what keeps me coming back to it. Obviously there's going to be bad moments where the car gets tore up or it's not working right, but when you get out there and everything just works perfectly, it's the freest you'll ever be in your life. And you don't think, you just react. And that is so relaxing. And it might be hard for some people to understand because they're like, you have engines screaming in your ear and you're trying to concentrate so hard. Well, that's true, but you're not thinking about anything. just driving. And that's why it means the world to me, because it's freedom.
If you could give any advice to someone who wanted to get involved in working on a race car, what would it be?
Well, if you're looking to get started, like to find a team to work with, your approach is everything. You don't want to come across as a know-it-all to some of these guys, because they won't give you the time of day after the first 10 seconds of talking to you. So, be honest, be open about your skills, and, find guys, in the pits that, are obviously not like scrambling trying to get a car back together or fix it. Find some people who are just kind of sitting around, not really like doing anything, or just waiting for their next race, and just kind of strike up a conversation with them. But you need to be honest about your skills, because if you say you can do something and it comes down to they need you to do it and you can't do it, that's going to piss them off bad. I have seen that before. But just be open about your skills and be willing to learn, because there's a lot you can learn about these race cars, and it's more than what most people think.
Is there anything you want to say to all our supporters?
Well, there's a whole bunch I want to say. Really, honestly, and truly, the only two words that come to my mind are just thank you. And we can't say that enough on this channel, because when I started this, I was not expecting it to grow as quick. And when I mean like the Facebook page, our Instagram, our YouTube channel. I was not expecting it to grow as quick as it did. And the amount of support that's come out of the community has been overwhelming. And, I get messages all the time. People will offer up suggestions and whatnot, and that's like the best thing ever. That's why I love this sport. And, without that, we could still be here trying to figure out why the motor's skipping, and it's been nuts. So really all I can say is just thank you. It means the world to us.